Expert Impact has partnered with Global Health Corps because we both want social enterprises to succeed, and we believe that organisations that operate with positive or social or environmental aims are the best way to achieve and work towards a more equal and sustainable world. You're about to experience what we term an impact lab.
Thanking everyone for joining us today. Also to Lee and the Expert Impact team for this partnership where we're really able to bring this type of group coaching.
Or you could give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you have or you haven't put a business plan together.
So Tara, I haven't, but I'm here with a teammate of mine, Noor, and we have to put together a pitch.
I would say is what was really transformative for us was getting our one-liner sorted. I would just often start with school spaces and Airbnb for schools, linking it to something an investor understood every single time. That really changed our ability to get people to introduce us to other people, our ability to get across in the first second why we were there and what we were doing. But ideally, your one-liner in the first thing you say, just getting right to the heart of what you do and what you're aiming for.
With anything, we need a plan. And this is what the business plan is all about. It's about thinking about the future. What do we want to aim for? How are we going to get there? And are we going to have enough money for it?
So I think a really, really important thing when you're thinking about scaling is getting that foundation solid, knowing what you're doing and why, because that will give you the framework to know what you say yes to and what you say no to.
From my experience, the more authentic that story is, and I guess sometimes you could say quite emotive and more real the experience is, actually the more people get on board. And I've seen that time and time again.
The thing that really I've learnt about when you're actually in the meeting with the investor or the kind of final conversations is that it's okay to say, I can't share that right now. It's not the end of the world if you have to say, I need to go back to look at that and find more data. It's not a bad thing and will really help you to make sure you're getting what you want out of the investment as well as the investor.
Like I had already shared, my name is Moses Mushime. I'm currently based in Kampala, Uganda. And together with my colleagues who are not here, we've co-founded an organization called Open Health Network.
Is it going to be products that you're offering or is it going to be services? So what is your planned activity? So giving the person that's reading this document a bit of an overview. And I always say you could give this document when you've completed it, a first draft to a friend, somebody to read, a family member that knows nothing about your business, so they can read it and ask you questions. Because then if somebody understands it that's got no experience, then when you're giving it to the funders, you're going to have ticked all those boxes, okay? And it will make you feel more confident as well.
That's such a practical and concise answer. Thank you.
I would also say is my experience has been very much, sometimes you'll sow seeds and it will feel like nothing's happened. You'll feel like, I've had this meeting, nothing's come from it. I've been talking to this funder for ages, nothing's come from it. I'm doing all this work and I'm seeing nothing happening. And then, you know, at some point, suddenly something feels like it's fallen into your lap.
Just the more you pitch, the more confident you feel and the more experienced you feel.
They like to know a bit about you and your background. So what have you done in the past that's brought you to where you are now? We're going to look at this in a bit more detail in a minute.
My name is Trinides Kunashe from Malawi. I am a founder and CEO for Tina Pads.
Can you answer those questions for your enterprise? Do you know the scale of the problem? Do you know where those customers or the beneficiaries are concentrated? And do you know what elements of your model are essential to make it work when you scale?
Purposes of being loyal to the people that have been with you or the funders that have been with you, or do you when do you now decide like maybe I need to jump with this very huge grant?
So we love talking to people, we love going to events, and you never know who you might meet out of that conversation.
For me, thank you so much. That was really helpful and I'll definitely continue to refer to these slides.
I just wanted to know, one of the things we are nervous about is to get the right funders on board.
If you've got a funder that really believes in what you're doing and shares your values, I think you can then start having really honest conversations about what you really need to do.
It's a very obvious one, but I do a lot of Googling to look at grants regularly. And I also, that's a job of our senior leadership team to kind of always keep an eye out for grants and any kind of PR opportunities or awards that will come with some grant funding attached. And then again, the kind of partnerships that we've spoken about are also a way that I look for funding opportunities and using kind of the partnerships and networks that I come across to kind of take our story further and open up our opportunities to further funding partners.
My advice has always been throughout running an enterprise and a charity and sharing with other people, understanding what your vision is, what your drive is, why are you doing what you're doing, and holding on to that really tightly, because that's the thing that gets you up in the morning. That's the thing that people buy into. That's who you are and what you're trying to do, and that you don't want to shift and change.